Hey there guys, how you doing? This is Ice9 and we're going to do, finally, I'm going to cover the new boss players that have come out here. And just unreal. Really exceeded my expectations for anything that EA was capable of doing, to be honest with you. So this is pretty cool. As you can see, I've got one player that we're looking at right here. I did do one of the sets, Tom Brady, and I didn't want to do this. I just made this decision today. I wanted to play with Vic. The Vic card is really fun to play with. But what I was realizing is that Vic's height is definitely a handicap, and also with the way I like to play, Vic was not ideal. I don't scramble much with the quarterback. I was trying to work on that, and I know there's plays where he would be really good at that. But when you got to stay in the pocket, and a lot of times with the defensive ends coming off free, you just got to get rid of the football. You got to stay in the pocket and get rid of the football. It's hard to extend plays. Even though the right tackle is more broken than the left tackle gets outquicked all the time too. So basically, I mean, you need somebody, for me, height, quick release, and accuracy are really key. And then the other thing about it was, for Vic, even though I lost half the value, I just sold him for 10 million. I sold that card for, and I bought him for 21.5. So under half of what I bought it for just a week ago. I can't complain about it at all, though, guys, because this new program is exactly what I'm talking about. And the other thing is, because Vic is a speed booster, he's kind of a novelty card. He still brought 10 million coins. Almost 10 million coins, you know. Got taxes and all that kind of stuff, the 10% tax. But, I mean, at that, I could build 2 of these new bosses if I work on the sets. That's a no-brainer for me at this point of the year. You know, it was just, I didn't want to burn any of these tokens to do any of these. There's a number of players that are coming out that I'm going to want. But I knew I was going to play better with this Brady card because it more suits my style. And I have already played better with this card than I did with Vic, even though Vic was very fun and the speed booster is great for defense. You know, I have to say, I mean, the awareness boost for me, so +5 boosts, unbelievable, out of a set-based card, and these are doable. The sets are not easy to do, but they are doable, that's for sure. Even by playing stamina, and we're going to go into all the various sets that go into building these, but even if you just play live events, these are attainable cards without stamina refills. I mean, you got to play a lot. It's going to be months. But even if you don't have coins or full bench or any number of things, you could get at least one of these players by the end of the year, and it's all up to you. How well can you work the auction house? How hard are you willing to work on live events? How much are you willing to concentrate on this? Is really what it comes down to. And as far as I'm concerned as a player, that's all I can ask for. You know, you can't expect a 99 +5 player to be easy. You know, it just wouldn't make sense to make it easy. But I do think it's very attainable for a lot of players. So that is the good thing about it. So Brady card here, we could see the insane throw stats. He is awesome. He throws dimes. There's no doubt about that. Funny to see a Tom Brady card with boosted, but 92 acceleration. That is funny. An 85 speed is very generous. Boosted, it's an 83 for the base card. He is still pretty slow. Coming from Vic, I mean, there's no doubt he's still pretty slow. But for my style, playing in the pocket, definitely a better card, no doubt about it. And he can throw everything. He can throw a great long ball, great short passing, really nice release, and Here, let's do some gameplay with him, because we got head-to-heads, and one of the things I hope they change next year, I came home from work last night, tired, and I had 17 head-to-heads to play. There's got to be some way that a player can control this without losing fans. I mean, it's obnoxious. You know, have some kind of a slider where people could select how many open head-to-heads they want at any given time, and then if somebody tries to initiate another one, previous opponent or a new opponent, you could say, you know, the number, you're not accepting head-to-heads at this time, you know, play somebody else. They need to have a feature like that. And I hope the game next year has this, because, you know, just playing games, that many games, and, you know, I got league drives to play, I got league championship drives to play, I want to play live events, trying to grind on this new program and get collectibles. And, you know, when you got 17 head-to-heads, it just takes a lot of time. So anyways, this is score or go home. And let's see what I've done. So strong IFB middle is hard countered, FP flare is hard countered, and Y stick is hard countered. Run is countered 20%. Maybe try to run it a little bit more. And took a couple of soft counters there, got a little bit unlucky. And he got through my soft counters here. And basically, I don't know why he went for the 2 on that one. He could have locked me out of doing another field goal if he had just kicked the extra point. And the 2-point conversion, even if he got it, wouldn't have mattered at all. So that was kind of dumb, I guess. Go into the end zone. Thank you. Alright, so let's see how I do here, Mr. Brady. That seems like a counter. 20%. Isn't that higher than what I played before? I'm going to look back at this. Bunch of hard counters there. No, it's the same. Alright, so 20% and a lot of plays are gone. I'm going to try running it a little bit. Try a little spin move there. Just trying to pick up some yards. Yeah, it seems. Yep, that was a counter. That was a medium, but still got the first down. And so flare, middle, and Y stick are all gone. What to do, what to do. Let's try cross up. See how that one works out. Not so good. And that one ran right into his wheelhouse again. 2nd and 15, ouch. Gotta try to get some. Man, is that another counter? Yeah, another 20%er. 3rd and 4. And got lucky. I think Gronk made that catch. And let's see. What do I want to run here? Try trip smash, even though I don't like it, especially at this difficulty level. I love how they just release off their blocks. It's so annoying. Oh, block the next guy. Why don't you stay with the block on the guy you were at? And pretty good mobility there, we can see. And now we're in field goal range to tie, which I will take if I have to. But hopefully we won't have to. But I got to play pretty conservatively here. Outlet is open. Kind of a goofy looking pass, but I do get the first down. And he's got a lot of weird counters in there. Wondering if this will work. Probably not, huh? Oh yeah, it's there. And Brady delivers a very good football. He's just mobile enough. And there we go. Another comeback by Mr. Brady. I know a lot of people hate Tom Brady. I don't. You know, it sucks when somebody wins as much as those guys do, but I don't know. You got to respect him. Got to respect him as a player. In terms of a quarterback, I'm pretty comfortable. I played with so many of his cards, and they're kind of similar in a lot of ways. Quick release, tall, good throw accuracy. So, all right, trip stick. 20%, and look at that. That is a lot of soft counters. So strong IFB middle is gone. Alright. And he plays somewhat the same kind of game that I do. And let's see how we do on this drive. And I got Hightower in there for a kicker, so I can't take those long field goals like I used to. Pretty good. Rolls out enough. Just enough mobility. That almost felt like a counter. It was kind of freezy, but delivered a nice, accurate football, and that's one of the things this card's good for. And another pretty good ball. Try to mix in a run. It looks like a counter. Go out as wide as possible and then get tackled out of bounds is the ideal, because you usually get cracked a little bit harder on a counter. So if you fumble, hopefully you get lucky and it goes out of bounds. Try another run. Oh, I should have popped it outside. Now is just try to run up the gut. I don't know if I've tried Y stick against this guy. It's probably countered. No, it's not. Interesting. Spread FL drag. I'll go there first. Save the Y stick. Get kind of a bad throw there. And try double slants on this one yet. No. So I will do double slants. Outlet is open yet again. And we are marching down the field. Looks like a counter. Ooh, 100% that time. He changed it. Interesting. Interesting. Take a shot at that. That looks countered. Good lead. Edelman got jammed up a little bit. I'm not a big fan of Edelman in that card at all. If he gets in space, he's good, but in terms of catching in traffic and, you know, fighting tight coverage, he's just not the greatest. Not the greatest. Alright, so don't want to do anything too crazy. Oh, that was dangerous. That was terrible, actually. And on that one, I should have went to wide receiver one, honestly. But I thought I could get that one in there, but I threw it way too... I shouldn't have thrown it at all. But I did tie it. Alright, so He must have thrown a pick 6. Oh yeah, first drive. Night Train got him. What a long one too. And I tried the toss to go up 14. And he just kicked the extra point, trying to put himself in position. So what worked for me? Flare, yeah, Brady threw just a great pass. I mean, that was just, a great pass. Led Olsen perfectly on Flare for the touchdown. So we'll see if he changed his counters here. Only really got to run 2 plays. And let's see what this one looks like. Oh, we take a sack. I was just about to get rid of the ball. Instead, I take a brutally long sack. And Flair still not countered. See, a lot of arc. Not quite there. Olsen didn't really make a good play on the ball. I would also argue pass interference. And Gronk doesn't make a real good play on the ball. Nice. They act like it's not even there. They do not go up and get it. Please. Oh, finally. The cheese play. And he clutches one. Been a bit of an adventure already. I'm going to try to get a run in there. That's a counter. It's critical. Spin out of 1 tackle, but not much more. And did not want to go to Davis on that one. And let's see what else I can do here. 3rd and 13. And again, pretty nice pass. Pretty comfortable playing this card. Yeah, it looks counterish. It is. That's one you don't want him to catch. 17%. Nice. 17%. I wonder. Yep. Y stick does not look to be open. Yep. Rough. And back to the old drawing board. Try spread slot flags, even though this is countered a lot. That's too shallow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a dime. That should have been a pick all day. So that's pretty cool. Strong IFB middle. I'm going to go Olsen. And 1st and goal. And curls. Get the blitz. Get a nice ball. And touchdown. Now with this, he's already pretty much locked out. If he scores 8, that's 15, and then a pick 6 wins. The hell, I'll try the toss again. That's a counter. Run for the pylon. And we get the conversion. Could feel one less speed booster in there. I can feel that on this team. So there we go. And got a couple more to play, but that's all we're going to do for right now. It just never stops with head-to-head. People, it was funny, somebody put a post on Mudhead that was hilarious, a new thread on Mudhead, talking about different stereotypes and types of players in this game. And There was the stockbroker. That's, in other words, the person who spends more time in the auction house than they do playing the game. There is the fan farmer, who does nothing but play head-to-head and get into the top 100. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious. The fan farmer. That's, all they care about is playing head-to-head and getting up there in the top 100. And I've got a lot of fan farmers who like playing me, and I wish I had a way to decline their games. I don't think it should be like last year, where basically somebody initiated a head-to-head against you. You could decline it if they scored, and then you could accept it and play them back if they didn't. And, that was a big advantage, and it wasn't the right way to do it either. But there should be some kind of way where there's a max number of head-to-head games that I could accept at any given time. That seems to make sense. This is a game, not my life. But at any rate, there we go. So there's a little bit of the new Tom Brady card. And let's get into this program now. It's not a promo. It's a program. It's going on for the rest of the year. Honestly, I wish they would do something like that to be at the beginning of next year. Not obviously with 99 double boosted players, but like scale them up over time, and that'll give, good players for people to work on with all the junk from the game. This is really kind of like Gold Medal Master and Silver Medal Master and that kind of concept, but even better. It's so open, and there's so many different ways to get the tokens that you need to get these players that it just really gives you any number of options. If you're a ninja at work in the auction house, if you're the prototypical stockbroker, you're going to make out. You're going to make coins off everybody, and you're going to be able to do well and probably do, the really good stockbrokers are going to be able to do every single one of these players every single week. Which will be just as obnoxious as before, where you got a team full of, maybe 20 of these players by the end of the year. Although I don't think it'll be that many. I assume that a lot of these players are going to be skilled players. I don't know how many linemen we'll see as a part of this, although that would certainly be very cool to see a guard and a tackle and, and things like that. Maybe we'll get a defensive tackle. But I assume it's going to be a lot of skilled players that are coming through this. So, did the Brady set here. Really didn't want to, but, my league to league today, I got yet another batted ball with Vic. Was just getting too many of them. And, I wasn't playing him the right way. I was kind of finding some unique ways to play him. And I was having fun with the card, but I just wasn't really effective with the card. Obviously did the Brady set here and burned 10 of my tokens. The other one here, Chicago Bears' very own Devin Hester here. A boosted 99 kick returner. So this is probably, you would assume that we wouldn't get any card better than this for a kick returner for the end of the year. So it's a cool thing to do is put a boosted player in the special teams, boosting the whole team, but doesn't really have a big effect on, you could put better gameplay cards in at more important positions then. The problem with this card is it's got an acceleration boost. And right now I believe I'm at already plus 11. Yeah, I've got Garrett, and I've got Fisher, and then I'm still have Rhodes in the lineup. And so for me to do this card and burn 10 more tokens, I've really got, I could do about 30 right now because I got a couple 99s, and, you could always pull a couple of tokens out from somewhere if you had to. I can at any rate, but I just don't want to do this on a kick returner right now. This is the type of thing where at the end of the year, if I've got leftovers and just need something to do, then I'll do this set. But the thing is, there should be about 20 plus of these players. So that's kind of a problem, unless you're really good at working the auction house and the economy, or you spend a lot of money at the game. You would have to spend unbelievable amounts of money on just pro packs using Madden Cash. So unless you have a lot of in-game currency, it's going to be really hard to do these week to week. It's going to be somewhere from 3 to 5 million coins to do each one of these, which is a great deal. Don't get me wrong. And really what this is going to do, depending on how many positions they have, this is really going to crash the boss market, which I absolutely love. Great move by EA to do this. But that's our other player here. We got another set up here, and in this particular set is a token of good faith from EA is the only way that I would say it. It is a gimmick. It is EA odds, but you could put in one token and possibly get 2 or maybe even more out of this. But somebody did do a poll on Mudhead, which I participated in. I've done it now 3 times, and I've got 1 token back every single time. The good thing about it is it's not really a gamble per se. You're not going to lose that 1 token that you put in, which is cool. You could possibly get 2. And it's a good thing for EA, even though it does sound gimmicky, because I'm sure the percentages of pulling 2 or more is probably less than 2%, or certainly less than 5%. Knowing EA, it's got to be. But it's still, it keeps people involved, so pretty smart by EA. You're going to go on and do this every day. And it's just kind of a cool thing to look forward to, I guess. Doesn't cost you anything. All right, so let's look at all our trade-in sets. And Mark Price came on to Mudhead, and then he did a podcast and talked about the new program. And, it's easy to get caught up in marketing hype, but day one he's like, this is going to be the most open program that we've ever done. It's going to be the best program we've ever done. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And I agree 100%. 100%. This blows away anything that EA has ever done in this game all 3 years I've been playing. Really does. Some of the in-game rewards like Mobile Master and Domination and Gauntlet, those are all cool players, but that's the one individual player that you get. Everybody's got the same player, essentially, once they do that. Everybody's got Gronk. Everybody's got Von Miller. So there's no variety. You have no selection of doing anything. And that's a live event only type of thing, except for Mobile Masters. You got to do really everything to get the Mobile Master. But now this is a totally new thing. The cool thing about this promo is it makes up for a lot of the BS things that we've had all year. Veterans, game changers, all the things that have been completely useless in this game for the year. Everything counts. Fan favorites, throwbacks, and that elusive helmet that you need to even do one of those. You've got a good use for those snapshots now from that. When I saw how good that actually, we're going to go into that set in a second. Let's go through them in order, okay? So starting here at the top with the player trade-ins. 175 gold players get you a token, which you need 10 to get a player. So 1,750 gold players. Boy, that's a lot. The thing was, because I was a hoarder, basically, when I was pulling through packs, trying to get first the Vic card and then the CJ2K card, and just burning through tons of packs. And I was doing trophy sets upon trophy sets, and I got up to, I think it was 410 trophy sets, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I've got so many trophies. It's crazy. And then, I read somewhere about the method of putting players out at the auction house for really high prices and then expiring and just leaving them there. So, that's what I started to do, and I got up to 11,000 items. So, naturally, when this thing rolls out, and I did that because of Gold Medal Master and Silver Medal Master from last year, hoping that they would do something like that. They not only did something like it, they did something much, much better, is really what they've done. Okay, so 175 gold players. That's a lot of gold players, but not a bad way to do this. If you figure if you get the gold players at about 2,000 coins, it's not a bad way to go, actually. And then the next one, I've done it 20 times. So over 3,000 gold players, and a lot of those were up converted from silvers and bronzes. I had 2,000 each of silver and bronze players out there out of the 11,000 items I had at the auction house. I had several hundred elites, and the rest were golds. All right, so next set here, 35, 85 to 90 rated elites. Okay, so the more common elites. And this will cause the price of elite players to go up, which is definitely not a bad thing. Actually, one of the great things about this, and that the fact that it's going to be 2 players a week, which is going to make sure that, one player or another is going to catch people's fancy, and, they're going to have coins to do it at that time, or have the tokens, rather, to do a player at that time. So it's going to ensure action at the auction house for the rest of the year, which is really cool, because one of the things about the last 2 years is the economy gets really, really tough. And I'm sure it's still going to be tough because you've got a lot of really good players out there. And, you don't have as many suckers, quite frankly, for the stockbrokers and for everybody else. And because there's less action stirring the auction house, because there's less players, and there's 4 auction houses now, so that does hurt things a little bit. There's just not as much action in the auction house. But this is going to make sure that everything keeps a value to a certain extent. And that's a pretty cool thing. But 35 elites, if you could get them for a normal price of about 10,000 or less by this time of the year, you'd be doing okay. You'd be building the player really at 3.5 million if you did that. But because elites are more rare and there's less people pulling through packs, that does mean that their prices are going to go up a little bit. And then because of all these elite players that people have been storing up in the hopes of a gold medal master or silver medal master or something like this, doing what I did, say why sell these players for nothing right now when possibly we could have something comes along that uses the players. And it was kind of funny. I set a deadline for myself. April came and went, and Gold Medal Master was like the first week of April, so it didn't look good for anything like this at all. And I was like, you know what, I might as well just sell slowly out of all this stuff, because when you got 11,000 items expired at the auction house, every time you sell something, I sold something, it took me 45 minutes to scroll down to the bottom and claim the coins. It gets obnoxious. It really does. So I was almost at the point of, all right, we'll just fold them into trophy sets or just sell what we can. And then I'm like, you know what? Easter came out and then draft came out, give me a little bit of hope. I'm like, they might still do something. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something. Well, they did something, all right. They did something. All right, next set here, 91 to 95 overalls. And this is one that day one I was like, okay, I had a few of these auctionable players. I had a bunch of unauctionables from All Pro too, which was really cool. And Pro Bowl too. I had a couple Pro Bowl players too that I was able to put in this set, unauctionables, including the Clowney card. And, the thing about this one is, these players are still fairly rare. This year they've kept the overalls down a little bit. There's nothing like All Rookie that's been out there that was putting quite a few 96s out there. There were 96 Easter players. And then there was a lot of players too that were 96s that came out of draft as well. So I haven't shopped this one too much, but day one I saw that I could sell these players for 50,000 coins, and I took those coins for a lot of those players. And then a lot of the other players I have left are basically boosters, and then I got Thanksgiving Reggie Bush on the bench still because I just like that card and I like that promo. On to the next one. In this one, we haven't seen too many 96 overall cards. So this one doesn't make a ton of sense yet, but we assume that more cheap 96s, easy, common 96s are going to be coming out, and that is not a bad way to do this as well. But if you're doing Derek Johnson's and you're doing Brandon Marshall's, probably not a good way to go. You know, that's basically 40 Brandon Marshalls to get yourself a boss. And while, you know, you could argue the player's worth it, that still doesn't seem like the most economical way to do things. You'd rather do like a 96 overall. And then the last set, the kind of poison pill, you know, that right here, a 99 for a 99 +5/+5 boosted player. This is one of those where if you're in a pinch, then you do it. I've got an Elway that I'm trying to sell right now at the auction house, trying to sell my Elway card because it is a double boosted, so hopefully going to get a little bit more coins for it. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. I had the cheapest one when I put it on at 875,000 coins, but it's already, you know, people came along and undercut me, and it's in the 600s, so I might continually try to sell it, you know, and get some coins, but I'd really like to get somewhere above, I don't know, 750,000 coins for that card. If I don't, one of the cool things about it, though, this set, so, for example, if you want to do the Brady card, but you only have 9 tokens, and you have Elway on your team, you could just fold them into one of these tokens, and then do the Brady set that way. So it's kind of a cool thing. And again, kind of shows the multiple ways you could do things. And that's just the players. Okay, so now we get to the cool stuff, in my opinion. And what really opens this up, because when Price announced it and I saw the Facebook diagram where it talked about, you know, gold players, elite players, gold trophies and elite trophies, and the same with collectibles, I had in mind something like positional heroes, where you put in so many of each item in order to unlock a token. But as we could see with these sets, that's not the way it is at all. You don't have to have all the multiple parts of the thing, with the exception of this set right here. And in my opinion, this is the one boo that I give on this set, is that people with domination collectibles are going to have this expire in a half a day. And if you didn't have a bunch of elite collectibles to go along with your domination collectibles, then apparently after this 14 hours is up, you're not going to be able to do this set. My assumption is use domination collectibles like normal collectibles. That was kind of lame. I don't know why EA is penalizing people for that. It's not like, I mean, it was 10 stamina per collectible to do that. And then the frustration of all the duplicates that people get for domination. It would have been a really nice way to reward those people who held on to those collectibles by letting them just use them like elite collectibles, but they didn't allow that to happen. I know that I had heard about people who had like 300 duplicates, and so that would have given them, you know, a lot of tokens right away. But, you know, if you play domination that many times, you know, I think you do deserve a leg up a little bit. So I don't quite understand this one, but it is still there for the time being, I guess. Okay, now the next one. If you've been saving up those training weights in the hopes that the fan favorites become 99 overall players, it seems like that has been slow to happen. I think we're only up to, 96 or 97 overalls. I believe it's 96s actually at this point. And with so many 99s already coming out, I had over 400 of these training weights, and I happily threw this in this set twice along with my other gold collectibles. But this really underscores the type of thing that you could use in there, including your game plan collectibles, which you don't want to throw in there. But you could even use the first win off of the scrimmage events off of there. You could use Unsung Heroes, even though it doesn't seem like an economical way to do it, at 375 collectibles. There's a lot of collectibles. The one that makes the most sense, the event to go along with this, is actually fan favorites, because you can get multiple training weights. 3 is fairly common through that, and that's not a bad way to go for 4 stamina, although it's still not the most economical. Then on to the elites, and finally, something else to do with these snapshots. These snapshots, you put 10 of these things in, and then you get another set of cleats when you wanted a helmet, and you redo it over and over again. It's not a very common drop. I want to say it's about a 1 in 15, 1 in 20 of throwback events, this drop. So probably not a really good way to do it by playing throwback events. But the ones that you got on the bench, you might as well throw them in there, I think. I think whenever I finally pull a helmet, it'll probably be from the live event anyways, and then I'll just be shocked and pass out when that happens. So I'm not going to keep doing that trade-in set, or, I'll do the trade-in set because there's nothing else to do, but putting in 10 snapshots to get another set of cleats just doesn't, not very satisfying. This is definitely a lot more satisfying way of using snapshots. And then we could kind of see all the other things you could do. So finally, the more common Ultimate Legend collectibles. You have something that you could do with these now. And anybody who saved up Legend collectibles, flashback collectibles, I saved up all of those. You relist it and can't sell it and bring the price down in $2,000. And it's like, what, why don't I just stick it in the set and see what happens? That's what I did. And so I've been able to do this now 3 times. Now, the one thing that's got me thinking about, though, is, man, All Pro was elite collectible drops 100% of the time. I believe it was 4 or 5 stamina. How awesome would that be right now? I don't know if EA is going to have anything with elite collectibles dropped 100% of the time for 5 stamina, 4 or 5 stamina for the rest of the year, though, because they will absolutely break the economy if they do it. This is the best set of all of them. If you could find the proper live events to play, you definitely get that first win snapshot when Throwbacks is out. And then also CFL, the drop rates have gone way up on that one. So you could put those CFL players. Let's see if we can find it. Actually, I'm glad I'm doing this now. So it gives you the full range of things you could put in there, auctionable and non-auctionable lead items. So those lesser collectibles now that you get for Ultimate Legends, instead of putting these in the sets in the hope that you get a year, what I would recommend doing is putting it in here or selling it right now. If you could get 15,000, 20,000 coins, maybe 25,000 coins for those, you're doing pretty well. And then if you do happen to pull a year collectible, if you're ripping through packs, then you could go back and get these for fairly cheap and still make a lot of coins on the player that you build, or keep them on your team, obviously. But, why put them in the sets? Why not put them into something that's a sure thing, which is 99 +5 boosted player if you get enough of these guys. So that's really the least amount of items. It's really a shockingly little amount of items. If you consider it this collectibles versus the lower elite players, it's 35, to this 45. So, instead of doing a lot of these sets to try to get an elite player, sometimes I think if you could get an elite collectible, just do it that way. So CFL, the drop rates are better now. When I was playing it Friday with stamina refills, it seemed to me that I was getting elites about 40%, maybe 50% of the time. Then you got there's Elway expiring. Then you got your first win snapshot there. Then you can make a decision to sell these guys or put them into the set too if you're ripping through packs. Don't put these in there. And definitely don't put this one in there. But one other thing you could do too, so for your league wins, you could put those collectibles in there. So that is really cool. Instead of putting it into that garbage pack, which I believe usually gives you one gold player, you could put 3 of those in for a win, 1 for a loss. So figuring an average of 2 per day, that gives you 14 of these a week. That's not enough to get you a boss in any time in the near future. But, you know, if you add a few collectibles here and there, you could certainly work towards a boss. And then the last one here, and you know, the thing about all these too, like 99 players, all of those 99 Marcus Peters that have been out there, and you know, same thing with the Zach Martin, you know, that we thought those cards were going to be worth a lot more because they're really good gameplay cards, really good players, the all-pro players. But it turns out a lot of people were using alt accounts and building them and selling them, and it just flooded the marketplace. Basically, there were more players than teams, it seemed like, at some point. But now those are going to be the types of players that are burned up in that 99 for a token set and things like that. That's obviously the easiest way to do it. You only have to collect 1 player per token. So those are going to get used up, and those will drive up the cost of 99s depending on how many easy-to-build 99s there are out there. But this one is kind of the same thing. Obviously, I don't want to put my Monsters, the Midway collectible, in there. But not many people have been doing the game plan set because of Ultimate Freeze and Monsters the Midway and Most Feared and Egg of Power. You know, these are all better defensive units than the ones that you get through doing that set, which requires a bunch of elite players and trophies. So not many people have been doing that one because it's been a loser for a long time. You know, so the ones that are out there are going to be used up pretty quickly. Their prices are going to be driven up and they're going to be gone, is kind of my prediction off of that whole thing. And going through and building defensive units and then throwing them in that set, by the way, is not worth it. And I will show you why. That is the last one of those. Then we've got the trophy sets here. So 150 gold players. 3 weeks of positional heroes, or 3 positional heroes worth of gold trophies. This one at 5,000 per elite right now doesn't make a ton of sense. The gold players make a little bit more sense because the gold players can basically be best used in this set and nothing else besides trophy packs. Speaking of trophy packs, if you're still doing them, if you need them for positional heroes or etc., you can, but it makes no sense whatsoever to do a 10 trophy pack to get 150 gold trophies when all you need is 175 gold players to do in the other set to get the same token. Usually the drop rates for golds, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 gold trophies per 10 trophy pack, and that's probably pretty generous. So you'll just lose out of that situation, and you'll also lose if you do positional heroes and use all the elite and gold players and trophies in order to do a positional hero to do in the 99 set. That you might as well just take the original items and put them in whatever set that goes along with that item and just do it that way. Okay, 35 elite trophies. Doesn't sound like much. Depends on what else is using elite trophies. I haven't burned up any elite trophies doing this one as of yet. I'm still thinking that they're going to do another trophy monster. I don't know if that's going to happen because how good is the trophy monster going to have to be to compete with this new boss program? I don't know. But, you know, if it's a type of thing where it's a speed booster, or a double boosted player 99 that uses 150 elite trophies, that might be worthwhile. As it is, it takes 350 elite trophies to do one of these players that way. Unless you're getting elites really cheap and don't need them for much else, I don't recommend doing this one for the time being, unless you're getting the elite trophies for about 10,000 coins, I would say, or so. Then it's a little bit more worthwhile. 10,000 or maybe low teens. Then maybe it's a worthwhile way to do it. But really, I mean, the cool thing about it is everything adds up. So you could work this angle, get trophies here, get collectibles from live events, get some gold players that have been on your bench, throw them in there, and just do everything you can from multiple angles to try to get as many tokens as you can. And then they've got these nice little upgrade sets here that are kind of bulk. You could put in 25 bronzes to get 5 silvers, and same thing for players. And then up into the golds where you could start using them, and then the gold player packs. So don't upconvert your gold trophies to elite trophies, by the way. That doesn't make any sense. The math isn't there on that one either. Alright, so pretty cool. And, you know, I mean, just based off of this, and it's a step in the right direction. And we're going to have to see what the game looks like next year, but it looks like I'm going to be playing. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be recording YouTube, and I know I'm going to be a lot busier, but, you know, I do plan on playing this game next year. And I like playing in my league. I do. And this is a really good thing that EA did. You know, I could not have imagined anything better that they could have done than this program. Now, in terms of, it's not all about players, as we know. And, you know, one of the big problems this year is overall and how game plans are pay to play. Whereas I think it should be by playing the game, and that I think players should have to make intelligent choices to hard counter their opponents or give up something, which you really don't give up much with the UF setup. I know people say, and myself included, I know how to play a UF setup, an Ultimate Freeze setup with high percentages, but the thing is, if the counters all fire, you know, you're screwed. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you catch criticals, especially against a higher overall defense, you know, you're going to have problems if you face counters every other play or 3 or 4 in a row. You know, it's just really hard to play under that. Case in point, we played a pretty good league a couple days ago, put up only 8 points, and I gave up a fumble 6 on the third drive. It was an Ultimate Freeze soft counter setup, and the lowest countered plays were play action. So the third drive, first play, I ran cross, knew what I had to do. Problem was I caught a critical counter against a 109 defense and gave up a fumble 6 the first play. That's kind of arbitrary. You know, it's not, doesn't show any skill except for getting items at the auction house and speculating, which is what I did to get my Ultimate Freeze set up. I saw, you know, those are probably percentage collectibles that are going to be expensive, and I got enough of them to really run this type of setup, but it's really not adding more skill to the game. I mean, it takes some skill to play around it, that's for sure, but it is kind of arbitrary. So I hope that's something they address for next year. Hope they take a hard look at what they did with the Ultimate Freeze, game plans and say, man, we don't need soft counters to that percentage. Maybe have a little bit higher soft counter percentages along with hard counters, or make the players make choices. That's what I would say in terms of improving for next year, and make players reward them for playing the game. But that's exactly what this is. Sure, if you're a stockbroker, an auction house speculator, you're going to kill on this. You're going to get all these players, but at least it gives an opportunity for those who don't work the auction house that much to also get these players by grinding through. And I think that's a cool thing. Now, Madden Mobile 18, the Boss Edition, there was promotional materials that came out with that. And there was a GOAT edition for that. And there were a number of players on the cover, and they're pretty interesting. One of them, it looks like they've re-signed Barry Sanders. So you best believe I'm going to keep 10 collectibles aside in case they come out with that player for this program. I don't know if they can based on the fact that he wasn't signed up for this year, but I don't think it's like sports. I think once he's under contract, they could probably put him in the game right away, is my assumption. I may be wrong about that, but I think it's at least a possibility. But, Barry Sanders, my favorite player of all time, I would get that card right now. And if they are going to come out with it, I hope they don't wait till the last week of the season, because I want that card. I tell you that. Other players that were on that promotional thing that I saw was Deion Sanders, Ray Lewis, Jerry Rice, and Tom Brady. So we got the first GOAT edition here, and we could see the differences between the cards. Okay, so that's a Boss edition. And next one here, Brady, NFL Boss GOAT edition. Okay, so I don't know if they're going to do all those players on there. Jerry Rice certainly the best at his position. I don't know how many of those that they're going to do, but if they do all of them, I want a lot of those. I would probably want Deion. I definitely would want Ray Lewis for sure, depending on what the boosts are, but I'm pretty sure I would want that player. Anything else? In terms of my goal is to try to get 8 or 10 of these. And now that I sold Vic, that's probably a lot more achievable. When I did that and sold Vic for $10 million today, it really, really sucked. I mean, I just bought him a week ago for 21.5 million coins. But I can't complain, because that's the nature of the game. Cards come out and make other cards obsolete. It's just something that happens. And, I didn't want to use the collectibles. I'm like, I was having fun playing with Vic. Didn't want to use the collectibles to do the Brady set. And then I'm like, I'm going to play better under Brady. And what that also is going to do is that it's going to allow me to get one more boss, because the cost, or maybe even more, because the cost of those players is under 5 million coins, depending on how much you grind live events, etc. So that is it, guys. Just wanted to go through the new program. And again, don't expect frequent updates for my channel. I never meant it to be that frequent. I do love this game, obviously, but got to have time to play it, run a league, and have a life too. Have a life outside of this game. So, just trying to balance all that. YouTube is going to have to get neglected. I'm sorry. I'm glad you guys have appreciated my content, rather. I'll try to do videos whenever I can, but they're probably not going to be as frequent. So, thanks for watching, guys.